Hello everyone. So today we are going to start demo politics, and our first chapter in the demo politics syllabus is power sharing. So in this video we are going to learn what is power sharing, and we learn the example of the country called Belgium, and we understand the concept of power sharing with the example of Belgium. Okay, let's not delay, we'll start. So once the concept of power sharing begins, we need to understand the meaning of power sharing. Okay, so what is the meaning of power sharing? Power sharing is the systematic division of powers between different levels of government, different organs of government, different levels of government, different organs of government, different political parties, different political parties, and different social groups, etc. Social groups, etc. So, what is the definition of power sharing? Power sharing will be the systematic study of powers or systematic division of powers between different levels of government, different organs of government, political parties, social groups, pressure groups, etc. Once we complete the whole chapter, you will understand the better meaning or the definition of power sharing. If the powers are divided between different levels of government, organs, political parties in the country, social groups in the country, that is called as power sharing. And in this video, we are going to understand the our concepts of power sharing with the example of the country called Belgium. Okay, we'll start Belgium. Yes, Belgium. We learn first the introduction of Belgium. We learn introduction of Belgium. The first concept is introduction of Belgium. We'll start with a few points. First point, Belgium is an European nation. So Belgium belongs to a continent called Europe. So Belgium is an European nation. Done. Then the capital city of Belgium. Belgium's capital city is Brussels. Belgium capital city is Brussels. Okay. Then now if we compare Belgium to India's state called Haryana, if we compare the country called Belgium to our state called Haryana, Belgium is half Haryana's size and population. Belgium is half of Haryana's size and population. For example, if Belgium's population is 1 crore, then Haryana's population obviously it is 2 crore. Obviously it is 2 crore. Yes, Belgium is an European nation. The capital city of Belgium is Brussels. And if we compare the country called Belgium to a state called Haryana, the size of Belgium, the population of Belgium is half of Haryana. Okay? Then, if we consider this particular square or box as a Belgium, now we are going to learn about neighboring countries of Belgium. To the north of Belgium, we have a country called Netherlands. To the north of Belgium, we have Netherlands. To the south of Belgium, we have France. To the south, we have France. In the north, we have Netherlands. In the south, we have France. In the east, here, we have Germany. In the east, we have Germany. In the southeast, we have Luxembourg. Southeast, we have Luxembourg. Yes. So there are 4 neighboring countries of Belgium. North we have Netherlands, south we have France, east we have Germany, and the southeast we have Luxembourg. So totally there are 4 neighboring countries of Belgium. So here we complete the introduction concept of Belgium. Belgium is a European nation, capital city is Brussels, and if we compare Belgium to Haryana, size and population is half of Haryana's size and population. For example, if you have Haryana population is 2 crore and the Belgium population will be 1 crore obviously. And if we consider Belgium, the neighboring countries of Belgium are Netherlands, France, Germany and Luxembourg. Okay, so now we learn more things about Belgium. So the next concept is social diversity in Belgium. Social diversity. What is the meaning of this word social diversity? Diversity stands for variety. Variety of people on the basis of gender, caste, religion, language, etc. Many more things. Race also. And similarly, the word social stands for society. So here, social diversity means variety of people based on their culture, language, tradition, the dress they wear, whatever it is. The variety of people found in the society based on their gender, caste, and religion is called as social diversity. So the question might also be as explain the cultural composition of Belgium. Cultural composition of Belgium. So they might ask different things. Explain the social diversity of Belgium. Explain the cultural composition of Belgium. Explain the ethnicity of Belgium. So this would be the answer. Yes. Now we'll start. In Belgium, we have 59% of Dutch speaking people. In Belgium, 59% of people speak Dutch language. 40% of people speak French language. 40% people speak French language. And 1% of people speak German language. 1% of people speak German language. So obviously, as the social diversity of Belgium is based on language, we can also use the term called linguistic diversity. Linguistic diversity. Then, if we consider this as Belgium, okay, the northern part of Belgium is called as Flemish region. There is a name given for this region. It is called as Flemish region or Flanders. Flemish region or Flanders. This part is called as, the southern part is called as Wallonia region. Wallonia region or Walloon. Walloon. So there are two parts of Belgium. Northern part is called as Flemish region. Southern part is called as Wallonia region. The northern part is completely filled with, dominated by Dutch people. So here we have Dutch domination. And obviously, southern part we have French domination. If someone asks me in MCQ, where do the Dutch people live in Belgium? Obviously, it is Flemish region. Where do the French more live in Belgium? It is Wallonia region. And where do Germans live? Germans live in the right extreme corner of Wallonia region. So Germans always live in the right extreme corner of Wallonia region. So we can write Wallonia itself. Okay. So 59% of Dutch, 40% of French, 1% of German. And the capital city of Brussels is also in the Flemish region. This will be the capital. The capital city of Belgium, it is Brussels, will be in the Flemish region. Okay. So, and in this Brussels, we'll have 80% of French people. In Brussels, we have 80% of French people and 20% of Dutch people. 80% French and 20% Dutch. This will be ethnic composition of Belgium, Brussels there. So if we write this, we'll get 3 marks. Okay, we'll understand once more. 59% of Dutch live in Flemish region, 40% of French live in Wallonia region, 1% of German will also live in Wallonia region, but to the right extreme corner of Wallonia region. And all of this is because of influence of neighboring country. What is a neighboring country in the north? We have Netherlands. Dutch is the native language of Netherlands. So influence of Dutch is in northern Belgium. What is the native language of France? Obviously French. So here the France, the neighboring country called France, influenced the southern Belgium. So the people of this part of Belgium will speak French language. And obviously we have German here, and this will speak German language. So all this linguistic division is because of neighboring countries. And this part called Brussels has 80% of French people. So this whole northern part is filled by 59% of Dutch. No, how can this 80% of French people can be occupied in Brussels, the capital city? Why? Because we'll get to the answer in next topic. What is the next topic here now? The reasons for tensions. Obviously, whenever we have diversity, tensions are common, conflicts are common. So we learn the reasons for tensions between French and Dutch in Belgium. Okay, yes, we'll start now. The French people were rich. French were rich. They were rich and they were powerful. French were rich and powerful. So when I tell they are powerful, obviously they'll dominate. They'll dominate. Even though French were minority number, we had just 40% of French people. Even though they were minority number or less in number, they were rich, they were powerful. As because they were powerful, they were dominating also. They will dominate the majority. Here, the minority is dominating the majority because they are rich and powerful. So only the capital city, 80% is occupied by French people because they are rich. They control the administration. They controlled the capital city. They were dominating community. So thus they occupied the Brussels. 80% of Brussels was occupied by the French people. Yes, then benefits of economic development was enjoyed by Dutch much later, which means Dutch enjoyed Dutch enjoyed benefits of economic development later. Benefits of economic development much later. All the provisions, preferences, everything was given for French first because they were rich. Okay, everything, whatever it might be, the educational provision, it might be any kind of facility in Belgium, French enjoyed it first. Even though Dutch were majority number, they got all the benefits, they got all the facilities later. Okay, this was one of the reason for tension between French and Dutch. And finally, uniqueness or unique diversity of Brussels. Unique diversity of Brussels. If you observe carefully, Brussels might act as an epicenter of the conflict. Why? Here we have 59% of Dutch-speaking people in the Flemish region, and in the same Flemish region, we have 80% of French people living in this small place called Brussels. So Brussels, the 80% of French people covered by 59% of Dutch people. This might be the epicenter. Why? Because of its unique diversity, and all the conflicts might start from Brussels only. So now there was the tensions between Dutch and French speaking community. The conflict was about to arise and the country was about to get disintegrated. The country called Belgium was on the verge of disintegration. But there was one beautiful thing done by the Belgium government. What did Belgium government do? Belgium government accommodated social diversity. Accommodated social diversity. What is the meaning of the word accommodation? Accommodation stands for all the different diversified people living together in a same country without any conflicts. I'll repeat, very important definition. All the different diversified people living together in the same country without any conflicts is called as accommodation. In Belgium, Dutch, French and German speaking people should live together in the same country without any conflicts. That is called as accommodation. To achieve this accommodation, Belgium government amended their constitution. Amendment is what? Small slight modifications made in the constitutions. An article might be added, article might be removed. That process is called as amendment. And from 1970 to 1993, 4 times in a row, Belgium government amended its constitution 4 times in a row from 1970 to 1993, and they brought several principles, several changes in their administration. We'll learn one by one, and this will be the 5-mark question. Explain the accommodation principle of Belgium. Explain the accommodation model of Belgium. How did the Belgium government accommodate its social diversity? Hell lot of questions can be asked out of all these concepts, so it's a 5-marker. Important one, 5-mark question. So how to start this 5-mark question? First, you should go with the definition of accommodation. If you read definition of accommodation and what Belgium government did to accommodate social diversity, that is nothing but amendment, you will get 1 mark. Accommodation is nothing but different diversified people living together in the same country without any conflicts. To achieve this accommodation, Belgium government amended the constitution 4 times in a row from 1970 to 1993. 1 mark. Okay, what changes were brought? First one, In central government, I'm going to give you keywords. The first keyword is central government. What happened? In central government, both French and Dutch will have equal numbers of ministers. For example, if there are 50 ministers in Belgium central government, 25 will be from Dutch and 25 will be from French. That's how the policy was made. Now this kind of administration was not before the amendment. Through the amendment, they brought a new change. What is the new change? In the central government, Dutch and French community people will have the equal numbers of ministers. So obviously now the problem is solved. Both have agreed for the equality concept, where in the central government both have equal representation. Okay, then in state government, okay, now the concept is state government. In Belgium, there was no state government. Belgium was unitary form of government. Unitary government. What is unitary government? In India, we have central government and state government. India is a federal country. But Belgium was a unitary country. There were no state governments. Now what happened? Through the amendment procedure, they created state government. Belgium transformed from unitary to federal country. Belgium transformed from unitary to federal country, and very, very important, state is not subordinate of central. State is not subordinate of central. Central government has its own powers. Similar to that, state government will also have its own powers. State government need not listen to central government. State doesn't come under the control of the central government. So when this principle was added in the Belgium constitution through the amendment, that made the accommodation more easier and better. So we've already learned 2 points. In central government, equal numbers of ministers from both French and Dutch community, equal representations are given, nobody will fight. Second point, Belgium was a unitary government, there were no states government were created, Belgium transferred from unitary to federal, and state is not subordinate of central. Now the people of different regions, they will get more representation, zero conflicts. Okay, yes. Now third point, there was a separate government for Brussels. There was a separate government for the capital city called Brussels. Again, in Brussels also same principle. What is that? Equal ministers or equal representations. Equal representation of ministers. Now what happened? There was a separate government created for Brussels as well. In Brussels also there will be equal numbers of French and Dutch ministers. And finally, we have the last form of government, that is community government. Community government. What is this community government? Community government is a form of government formed by separate community of people. In Belgium, we have 3 different community people. So obviously, in Belgium, we had 3 community government. Dutch community government, French community government, German community government. This was constitutional provision through the amendments. Sir, do you think this community government, when they formed, they have powers? Yes, they enjoyed the powers in the matters of language, education, culture, etc. Language, education, culture, etc. Clear? So community government can also be called as linguistic government. Why it is called as linguistic government? Because the government is formed by separate community of people who are divided on the basis of language. So community government is also called as linguistic government, where the people enjoy the powers over the matters of language, education, culture, etc. If you write 4 different points, 1 mark for each point, and obviously 4 marks here, 1 marks for accommodation amendment, and finally we can conclude the answer. Yes? So what happened here? The accommodation was achieved in the Belgium through the amendment, and easy to remember. It is very easy to remember. Central government, state government, Brussels government, community government. Central government, equal ministers. Brussels government, equal ministers. State government, unitary to federal. Community government, 3 community government, and their powers, language, education, and culture. If you explain this properly in points as it is like this here, you will get 5 marks. So what do you think? Do you think the country called Belgium accommodated social diversity by power sharing? Yes. So here in Belgium, what happened exactly? The powers were shared among the different communities, and thus the country called Belgium was easily, we can tell the accommodation was done easily, and people lived in the country without any conflicts. They lived peacefully. If you share the powers, people can live peacefully in the country. You can achieve the accommodation. The next example called Sri Lanka. In that country, powers were not shared. Let us see in the next video what happened to Sri Lanka. Okay, and also related to this particular content in your textbook, there are two pictures given. Okay, the first picture, there is a street signboard. In Belgium, all the street signboard will be given in both the languages, Dutch and French. Why do you think the street signboard will be given in both the languages? That shows power sharing. That shows equal representation. Okay, wherever you go in Belgium, it might be Flemish region or Wallonia region. Both the regions, we have street signboards in both the languages. That's the equal representation. One more picture is about the headquarters of EU. European Union. European Union. It's a group of European countries, and when European Union, EU was established, they were searching a place to build their headquarters. There were so many countries, popularized country and powerful countries, Spain, France, England, so many countries. But why did they choose Brussels to build their headquarters? EU's, European Union's headquarters is built in Brussels, a place called Brussels. Why? Why? Because the place called Brussels is a model of accommodation. In fact, the whole country called Belgium is the model of accommodation. To a group with 50 countries, example, with 50 countries, what principles they need? A group must have principles like, a group must follow principles like mutual trust. Mutual trust. Okay, and also like agreement to live together, agreeing or agreement to live together. These are the basic principles which must be followed by a group to sustain the group, and these principles was already followed in a country called Belgium. So all the, when eyes of EU was on Brussels, and they built the headquarters in Brussels. So this is all about your concept of Belgium related to power sharing. We have learned that in Belgium power sharing happened, and that has achieved the accommodation. In next upcoming classes, the classes will be regarding the concept of Sri Lanka. We'll see whether the country called Sri Lanka, did they share power among the people? Did Sri Lanka had social diversity or not? We'll see in the next video. Thank you.